Today we're going to talk about Oklahoma winners and losers at the NFL Combine and all that's coming up after the bumper.
What do you mean you don't subscribe to my son's YouTube channel?
Mama, no!
Just snap the damn ball, RJ.
What's up, kid folk? It's RJ Young. I am not on a step mill. Consider hitting the like and subscribe button because I upload a video every single day. It's always OU related, college football related, sports related. We have a good time. And today we're going to talk about Oklahoma football players who won the NFL Combine and lost it. Now let's start with the losers. Gotta go with Bill Bedenbaugh's offensive line for the most part. They tested about as well as you expected them to test, but also it's not really a good look when your running back puts up more bench press reps than you do Cody Ford or Ben Powers. It's just not a good look. Bobby Evans didn't look good in drills. Cody Ford didn't look good in drills. And the things that you want people to focus on are not the things that they focus on in the NFL Combine. The Combine is a glorified underwear Olympics, as they say. It is not a test of football prowess. It is a good reason for NFL scouts and general managers who don't watch college football to get an opportunity to evaluate players they should have been watching all year. I say we don't actually need the NFL Combine except for the medical portions and perhaps the interview portion. But if you were doing your due diligence and you trust your scouts, you were watching these games all along, and you know that Ben Powers, Samia, Cody Ford, and Bobby Evans can all play offensive line at the next level. This is what we were talking about last year with Orlando Brown, who was a unanimous All-American, who is not the athletic freak that a lot of these guys are, but he was the best left tackle in college football, and he's proven to be more than a capable pro. And I think when you look at the film of these four offensive linemen, you're going to say the same. And a lot of the training has changed in a way that they don't prepare you for the NFL Combine. They prepare you to play football. Now, you would love to perform well in the NFL Combine if you're going to go through it. Nobody wants to go through this and look weak, or go through this and look slow, or go through this and look like they don't have any sort of agility. But that is what it is. Somebody's going to win it. Somebody's going to lose it. Like Justice Hill at Oklahoma State. He made a lot of money running a 4.40 and putting up a 40-inch vertical leap. He looks like a feature back. He runs like a feature back. You would like to have that kind of performance out of your offensive lineman when you're talking about getting up off the ball, looking good in drills, but that ain't what Bill Bedenbaugh coaches toward. He coaches toward actually being a pretty good offensive lineman. Another guy that I think won the NFL Combine, Rodney Anderson. He's one of the taller running backs to be here. That's a big deal, especially when you're talking about Josh Jacobs being 5'10", and you're talking about Rodney Anderson being 6 feet tall. And also, he's taller than Justice Hill. He also was very impressive in the strength portion, which is to say the bench press portion, of the Combine. But he didn't run. And not going through drills. Maybe he'll go through them at the pro day, but after what this guy has gone through with injuries, you can understand why he would not necessarily want to put himself out there. But he did go through the medical portion. So if there were some red flags to be raised, that's where they would be raised. That said, you would love to see the guy move, because we know from watching Rodney Anderson, he's come back from everything. Broken leg, broken neck, blown out knee. Comes back bigger, stronger, faster, because even as a hard luck guy at Oklahoma, he's still one of the more athletic freaks coming into this draft. People remember the 4-foot jump out of the pool. He is strong like you read about. That said, you still want to see him move if you're an NFL scout or GM and you're looking to draft this guy in the 3rd or 4th round. You want to know that he can still explode. And you might not be able to know that unless you work him out. So we'll wait and see about where he works out, when he works out, what it has to do with that. But he has had the surgery. He's okay. If he showed up, I said that he won it, and he did show up. Same thing with Marquise Brown. He showed up. Everybody knows that he doesn't move well. He's had surgery for the Liz Frank injury in his ankle. I kind of stand pat on him. I don't necessarily think he won or lost a spot, because that's a guy that was being projected in the late 1st round to go. Fits a lot of what NFL teams are trying to do now with shorter, faster guys to stretch the field and not necessarily be the kind of guys that need to run stop routes. They're running slants, they're running go routes. You're looking for the next Antonio Brown. Marquise Brown is his cousin. You get where I'm going with that. Maybe you get even an Antonio Brown without the baggage in a Marquise Brown. See where I'm going with that. And again, the last guy I think won the Combine is Kyler Murray. I know everybody's oversaturated with the Kyler Murray news because it feels like this is all we've been talking about for 2 months, but he is one of the most fascinating stories in the NFL for a very long time, if for no other reason than he just shunned baseball as a number 1 overall draft pick, or not number 1 overall, a number 9 overall draft pick, and the number 1 for the Athletics to play football. And his interviews didn't go as well as you would hope, But Kyler Murray is not Baker Mayfield. People need to understand that. He is himself. He's going to handle things differently. I would love to see him say something more than, I'm a football player, I picked football, I want to play football. I would love to see him just have a little bit more fun with this and make some jokes about it, about bringing a bat to practice or something, just to show some personality. But I understand that's not necessarily who he is, and who he is the best quarterback in this draft. And we're talking about the Giants drafting him. When Michael Lombardi put the kibosh on that, saying George Young's playbook is still in play there, they're going to go with a guy that is 6'3" and fits their measurables. But to that end, most people believe that Kyler Murray is the consensus pick for the Arizona Cardinals at 1. Josh Rosen sees the writing on the wall, or so we think, but nobody really knows anything at this time of year. I mean, in 2007, when Adrian Peterson went through this process, everybody thought he was going to the Browns. Saw how that worked out. Most people thought that Calvin Johnson could not be the guy that the Detroit Lions would pick. You see where I'm going, right? You don't really know until you know, but as much as you can win or lose a combine, that's how I see it. All right, that's it for me. Deuces.